author of Fragments, Kong Tuan, lived in Cambodia when he was a child, under the rule of the Khmer Rouge. Now, the Khmer Rouge's goal was to wipe unclean Cambodians off the face of the earth. Now, while Tuan lived in Cambodia, he was only a child of about 7 years old. And in his poem Fragments, he goes through a small snippet of what he experienced while fleeing his village. In reality, Tuan witnessed the death of his mother and managed to escape across the border and make it to a UN refugee camp. Today, Tuan is a college professor. However, he still struggles with what he witnessed in his time in Cambodia. This can be seen in the third part of his poem, where he's sitting on a couch and is taken back to his childhood, taken back to the vivid memories. And his wife doesn't quite realize what he's going through, not because she doesn't understand, but simply because he hasn't told her. He's suffering from PTSD from the single traumatic experience that he's gone through, and he's afraid to tell her. Tuan is an educated individual, being a college professor, but he doesn't seek help for his PTSD. Why? Why is it difficult for people to seek help for PTSD? And this can be summed up in 2 points. The first point being that it's almost impossible for them to see the extent of the problem or admit the extent of the problem to themselves. And I'll read the first part of his poem to go into depth on this. Nothing is like the smell of singed skin, meshed with the burning metal in the evening wind. The boy and his grandmother are crouching in a ditch as the rockets whistle, randomly selecting its victims. The night sky is lit like fireworks. The earth smells of burnt skin. Mothers cry for their children. The boy clutches his grandmother's body. Bodies fall, parts scattered, dispersing. Pieces of someone, a neighbor, a friend, an aunt maybe. Another round illuminates the darkening sky, and then there is the silence and the trembling, and the urine, and the crying. The boy asks, "Where is mother?" The jungle is silent. The world stands still. But the whistling continues. Now, there's a lot you can take away from this, from the language that Tuan uses. Specifically, he uses the present tense, like this is happening right now. He uses things like, nothing is like the smell of burnt skin, but also distancing himself by using the boy. Why does he use the boy when it's his own personal experience? He doesn't want to put himself directly in that position. He is slowly distancing himself away from this. You can see this further in the urine and the crying, the silence and the trembling. These aren't his emotions that he wants to show you. He wants to distance himself as far away from these emotions as he can, but yet it's so vivid that he can see himself there, still, to this day. He remembers everything that happened, but doesn't want to be there. So at this point, he doesn't really want to recognize the extent that he feels these emotions, the effect it has on him. But he still is imagining these things. And this could be because he is ashamed of how he acted at the time. Only 7 years old. It makes sense that a 7-year-old child would tremble and pee his pants. I could picture myself doing the same exact thing given the situation. But he's too prideful, and I think as men, we can agree with that. And the second part is the fear of being pitied or losing loved ones close to us. And this could be exemplified in the second part of this poem. In our apartment in upstate New York, We watch fireworks from our living room window. The college where we teach is celebrating an evening of togetherness, where aging alumni and retired professors meet under the boom boom sound. I sit back on the futon, trying to rest, eyes closed, sweating. My fiance looks out the window. There is something about fireworks, she says to me, something about it that appeals to everyone. And it's not that she doesn't understand what he's going through. It's that he's failed to tell her. She doesn't quite understand because he hasn't told her. And he's afraid to tell her because he's afraid of possibly losing her because he's damaged goods. Or maybe worse, that she will pity him for the rest of his life. And he can't go on with a fiance that pities him because there needs to be some form of respect. And now why is it important that we realize what people with PTSD are going through? It's important so we know how to deal with this in the future and going forward. And it's important that we make sure it's treated correctly. Thank you.